Let's go into the details about crafting orders. We'll talk about what they are, what the changes to crafting are with this expansion, crafting tier quality, how crafting and recrafting actually works, how to place a crafting order, and some tips and tricks into the new system. So what are crafting orders? Crafting orders are a system that allows crafters to create bind-on-pickup items for other players that wouldn't have the normal skills to be able to create that item. This greatly expands the capabilities of crafters and their influence upon this expansion. Gems, crafting materials, trade goods, potions, and weapons and armor are all options that crafters are going to be able to create for you to allow you to access parts of the game you wouldn't be able to with your current specialization. Crafting has changed quite a bit with this expansion, which very much focuses on skills and specialization into different crafts. So different crafters are going to have different specializations, like into axes or into potions, and those crafters are going to be better at crafting those specific things. If you want the best quality pieces of each different type of thing, like the best potions, the best armor, you're going to need to find a specialist that has focused their efforts into that thing, and no one player currently is going to have all of those specializations, so you need to find the right player for what you need. Of course, if quality isn't as important to you, you can use the public system, which just posts the order out there, and anybody with the capability of crafting that item can craft it for you. You just won't have as much control over the quality of what comes out. And that's what we'll talk about next, is quality, which is now a new system within crafting. Practically everything related to crafting, that's crafting materials, completed products, consumables, are all going to have a crafting quality level. The quality level begins at bronze, goes to silver, gold, platinum, and then mastercraft. Crafting materials and consumables max out at the gold level. They cannot go above that. Crafted weapons, armor, and special accessories can go all the way up to the platinum and master levels. Increasing the quality of a equipable piece of item will also increase its item level significantly, from up to 10 over the base level. Special items will allow you to increase what the base level is, such as the Primal Infusion or Condensed Primal Infusion. That would allow you to increase the base level up, and then the quality over the base level will determine how many item levels higher that you get. So without one of those, I craft axes at between 382 at bronze rank and 392 at mastercraft. If I were to get a Primal Infusion, that becomes between 395 and 405. And then a Condensed Primal Infusion goes from 408 all the way up to 418. The quality of the crafted item will depend on the specialization of the crafter, and crafters really need to focus the specialization into specific things so that they can craft up to that master level or even that 3-star level for consumables. And without those specializations, you're not going to get a guaranteed rate to get those highest levels. So when you're looking for a crafter to craft you a piece of equipment, you need to make sure that they are a specialist in the type of equipment you are trying to get crafted, and that their skill in that type is at a high enough level to craft at the quality level and increase difficulty that you would like. Inspiration will help the crafter have a chance to craft at a higher level, so some recipes will require inspiration procs, and usually crafters will tell you what their inspiration rate is, if it 10, 20, 40%. Some might also be willing to use things like insights or other enhancements to the crafting side to make it higher chance of inspiration or higher skill. Finally, some of them will be willing to recraft the item multiple times to try and get you that inspiration proc to get you that maximum level. We'll talk about recrafting in a second, but first let's talk about enhancing the gear with additional items. There are 3 things that can be added to weapons, armor, and other equipables when trying to craft them to increase their level. So there is something like an infusion. So that's like the Primal Infusion that will give you an increase in base item level for the craft. There are things like missives, which will change the stats that the item will have. There are both combat and non-combat based missives depending on what you're crafting. On top of the missives, there are also embellishments, and embellishments will add a special proc to the item that's getting crafted. Some items already have a proc, so you need to make sure you're not trying to add an embellishment to an item that already procs. As well, across all of your equipped items, you can only have 2 items that have a crafting embellishment. So you need to be very careful to not overcraft embellished items so that you can actually equip all the items that you want. Also, adding all of these different things, missives, infusions, and embellishments, increase the difficulty and then need a even more specialized or even more talented crafter to be able to craft that item at the maximum item level. So sometimes be careful about adding an embellishment if you are dealing with lower quality resources or things like that. When crafting, the quality of the resource is going to reduce the maximum skill requirement to craft the item. So if you supply all tier 3 crafting reagents, the difficulty for the crafter to craft it at the maximum level is going to be reduced significantly. Some crafters have skills so high that they'll let you know you can use T2 or tier 2 crafting reagents and I will still get you the maximum level for this craft, and that can save you a lot of gold. But it could also be nice just to help out somebody that's trying to level up their crafting if you supply slightly higher reagents to give them a couple of skill points, so there's more competition in that particular craft type on your server. Once an equipable item has been crafted, it isn't necessarily done. Afterwards, you're able to recraft it. You can find a crafter with a higher skill, or you can get some of those special items like the missives or like the infusions, and you can get them recrafted into your item. That can increase your item's item level, or it can add additional embellishments and things like that after the initial craft. This should allow crafted items now to be still relevant when the next tier comes out. As the next levels of tier come out, new items are going to be released like the infusions, and it will allow you to increase the item level of your crafted piece up to the current content. This should help keep crafted gear relevant to where you're at. Again, this only works for equipable items, so that is the actual weapons, armors, trinkets, or the profession equipment, so like aprons and things. It does not count for gems or potions. So now that you're kind of ready to do a crafting order, let's go over how to do it. So first you have to run up to these guys. They're located in the Artisan's Market in Valdrakken, and these are the crafting order stations. Then you can open up a crafting order. I'm going to open up one for a Frostforged belt. So I'm going to look for plate waste. I'm going to search, find the Frostforged belt, make sure I have all of the materials and at the highest quality level, infuse it with power, and then I'm going to find the vendor that agreed to do this for me. I will set a minimum level. Due to things like the inspiration system, you'll want to probably set the minimum quality to the platinum level rather than the mastercraft level before making the submission. This will make sure that if they are not at the level to craft it at master level, but their inspiration might get them there, or they might have an item that they can use that can bump it up, so make sure to let them do it. Don't forget to tip your crafter. It's very polite to make sure that they get a little bit of funds for the service that they're giving to you. Once the crafting order is complete, you can check on it at the system, make sure that it is marked as complete in the actual vendor, and then you'll be able to find it in your mailbox. So here is my Frostforged belt, which is going to be awesome for proccing my rings and other effects in the fights, so I'm happy to have that upgrade. For some tips and tricks around the crafting system, first I would recommend, if you're going to craft something that is very expensive to craft at maximum level, especially your first craft of an item such as like a weapon, you might want to first buy cheap materials like silver or bronze, depending on what their price is on the auction house, for the actual craft, and then put up a public crafting order. People jump on public crafting orders for very small amounts because they're trying to level their professions, and that gives them that sweet 3 skill points. That'll get you a crafted item for a cheap price. Then you buy the maximum R3 crafting materials, and you find yourself somebody to recraft that item that you just got crafted at whatever skill level that new crafter is able to handle. Usually, recrafts require a fraction of the amount of materials as a main craft, so you're not paying that T3 quality for all of those parts. Part 2, make sure across all of your gear, you have 2 embellishments. You want to make sure that you pick certain items that usually don't interfere with like your tier pieces, and make sure that they have those procs from embellished pieces. So that's things like the lariat or adding in the healing darts. They are more powerful than the item level of the item itself, and they are extremely beneficial. So try and make sure you figure out 2 parts that you can have an embellishment on. Third, if somebody that you don't know is demanding to know the name of someone that crafted you for something cheap, don't tell them. There are some people out there that try to mass ban anyone that doesn't fall within the cost of what they are expecting things to charge for tips, and it's a really toxic system that we should not encourage. So that's all I've got for crafting orders today. I hope this helped you understand the system a little bit better and get you into your first couple of crafts in World of Warcraft Dragonflight.